Well, welcome back. I want to talk with you for a few minutes about another one of my heroes, and I think one of yours, and it's William Tyndale. And again, it's one of those names that's spelled more than one way, sometimes with a Y, sometimes with an I. Sometimes it's pronounced Tyndall, sometimes Tyndale. Probably Tyndall is more correct, but most of us today say Tyndale because it's just easier to say. And the publishing house named after him is Tyndale House Publishing. But this is a statue of William Tyndale on the Thames River, and I hope soon you'll see that and you'll stand at the base of this. It's really quite high up, but this is a marker because he was martyred and burned at the stake. There is no tomb for Tyndale, no place like that. So this statue is erected looking out over the Thames River in London to honor this remarkable man who shaped Bible translation and shaped the English language in immeasurable ways, tremendous ways. So he is a major hero of language study, of translation, and most of all of missions and Christian study and Christian expansion, especially in the English world. So the Tyndale tradition, I want to talk in this clip and in the next one about what I call the Tyndale tradition, which in another video I talked about dominoes falling. You're going to go from the work of William Tyndale himself to his understudies to others, but by the time you finally get down to the King James Bible, almost a century later, very little has changed from the original wording of William Tyndale, so that the King James will retain, if you get different estimates, but maybe about 90% of the wording is still his, and it's just been tweaked as you've come down the timeline. Let me show you, we left off in another video with this little Bible here. It's quite small. This is the 1526 Tyndale Bible. It was an incredible work for its time. It was shipped without bindings, wrapped up in bags of different things, and smuggled into England from Europe and sold, and you could take it and have a binding put on it. People like Anne Boleyn, the Queen, the second wife of Henry VIII, had a Tyndale New Testament that she read. One of these was eventually presented to King Henry VIII. Tyndale's little work is a beautiful masterpiece, and you can look at this up close and in color. And these were gathered up by the Bishop of London, taken to St. Paul's Cathedral, the old St. Paul's Cathedral, and a marker in the stone there today, the pavement outside, is a place called Paul's Cross. There was an outdoor pulpit there, and at Paul's Cross, they burned all of these. There are two that remain that are known today. One is inside St. Paul's Cathedral today, and the other is the British Library, and hopefully you'll have opportunity to see that. But it's a great little compact Bible, and Tyndale's intent with this obviously was this is something you could put in your clothing or in a small bag and carry with you. It would be a part of your ongoing daily experience. This would be something you read, not that you just treasured on a shelf or that sat at the pulpit of the church. This was to be a part of your daily life experience, much like a Bible this size would be for us today. Well, those were burned, but as they were burned, the money involved in buying up those Bibles trickled back up to Tyndale and the publishing process, and it enabled him in 1534 to reproduce another New Testament. This is a 36, but it's just like the 34, and you see the bigger format of it. It's improved, and running throughout it are woodcut pictures in different places, which is remarkable art for the time. So a lot went into there. That's a typical woodcut from an early Tyndale Bible. So it was a more polished translation. Everybody can improve things by redoing them, just like you proofreading a school paper. He polished it, worked on it a bit, added the pictures, enlarged the size of the book a bit, and so the second and third editions look like this. They were better New Testaments, and they would endure. In the same time, he was also beginning to translate in the Old Testament, really with the goal of doing the whole Bible. This amazing linguist was skilled in multiple languages. He could speak several languages as though they were his native tongue. And so he is gifted at especially getting the Greek text and then in the Old Testament, the Hebrew, into the English language of the 1500s. People talk about Shakespeare and his drama shaping the English language. Much more, William Tyndale, shapes and molds the English language, and we still speak Tyndalian English. Well, he was martyred in 1536. At his death, he died praying, "Lord, open the eyes of the King of England." What Tyndale didn't know over on the continent is that that was already a prayer being answered, and another Bible would come out in 1535 before his death. A Bible at the hands or the work of Miles Coverdale. This is Miles. Miles doesn't look very happy in the picture. I think he's at peace, but he just doesn't seem to be very happy. I hope to take those of you that are master students at the Bible College in Zambia, I hope to take you to his church. It's right down by the Thames River in London, near the Tower of London, and you can see where he's buried in the wall at the church where he preached. He managed, even through the years of Bloody Mary and the extreme persecution of the church, Miles Coverdale managed to survive. And for a while he went to the continent, and then he came back to pastor when Elizabeth took over as queen. But he was a remarkable linguist also. He didn't have the skills of Tyndale, but what he did do was he took Tyndale's work, as Tyndale was in prison, he took his work and added to it the books that were missing to produce this great work here. The Coverdale Bible is named for Miles Coverdale. And Miles is spelled sometimes with an I, sometimes with a Y. Miles Coverdale put this together. Look at the size of it. This is obviously intended to be like a pulpit Bible, but a great, great work, wonderfully done. This is a reproduction of the title page that goes to the Coverdale Bible. Well, the Coverdale Bible, its impact is mostly that it's a bridge to something else. The King of England kind of turns his eye away from, he doesn't come down against the Coverdale Bible, allows it to exist, but it's still not the first authorized version of Scripture. But Miles Coverdale is one of the great disciples of William Tyndale, and he sees to it that when his leader is no longer able to continue, he sees that that work goes forward. He has the same heart, the same vision of the Bible and the language of the people, the Bible and the language of the English world. So he's another great hero of the church. Now there's another follower of Tyndale, and I want to skip over him for just now. We're going to come back to him in the next clip, and that's John Rogers. And John Rogers would take the work of Tyndale and Coverdale and produce the Matthew's Bible. He put somebody else's name on it, but it's the work of John Rogers, another disciple of William Tyndale. And I'll talk about that in our next clip. But building on all of those three men's work, there's a growing freedom and opportunity and a change in the mind of the King of England, Henry VIII, to allow another Bible. And Miles Coverdale works on that Bible, and others with him, to produce what is known as the Great Bible. It's called the Great Bible because of its size. It is large. It is chained to the pulpits in the church. The King of England says put it in all the churches, chain it to the pulpit so it won't be stolen, have it where it can be read regularly and people can come by and read it, and the Bible begins to go public. That's the Great Bible. I do not have one. In fact, I don't even have a reproduction of that. I've got a portion of the New Testament in it. But this is an actual page from the Great Bible. This is John 14. When I ordered this over the phone, I asked the sales guy that operates the Bible Museum, I said, could you give me a really good page from the Great Bible? I mean, a significant passage. And he says, oh, I can't guarantee that. That's just not how it works. Maybe I'll look around. A few days later, my package came and I opened it up and I was really excited because my passage was John 14. And he said unto his disciples, let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also. As you read through that portion, I've read that at hundreds of funerals. As you read through that portion, there's one word difference between that in 1539 and what the King James has for that passage in 1711. So you see the enduring work. This is really the words of Tyndale, the translation of Tyndale in English carried from his Bible to the Coverdale Bible to John Rogers' work to the Great Bible. And this is called the Great Bible, the Chain Bible. It's sometimes called a Coverdale Bible. Others will refer to it by other names. Sometimes it's referred to as the Cranmer Bible, because Cranmer was the Archbishop of Canterbury and was very influential in getting the King of England to authorize this great Bible for the churches. Thomas Cromwell also has a great role in that. Now I want to get a still shot woven into our video of the title page, and you will see this up close. Henry VIII at the top, and various things symbolizing God and the Holy Spirit. But on the sides, you have Thomas Cromwell, who is in charge of things political in Henry's day, and he's dispersing the Bible to the secular world. And Thomas Cranmer, who does the Book of Common Prayer and a great martyr in the 1550s for the evangelical cause, he's dispersing the Bible, distributing the Bible to the clergy of the day. So that's the Great Bible, or the Chain Bible. And so this Bible leads to this Bible, that leads to John Rogers' Bible, the Matthew's Bible, that leads to the Great Bible. And so that's a progression of the Tyndale tradition. So we're going to take a pause at this time and get up some more things to show you about the Tyndale tradition.